The kind of animosity Nehru and Jinnah shared, do you on a personal level have any such intense animosity towards anybody, professionally or personally?
Good question.
I'm
Animosity.
sure you had. We all have.
No, no, but I think I consider myself as a pacifist.
Arif Zakaria is making waves with the new web series Nikhil Advani's Freedom at Midnight. Every now and then, Arif Zakaria springs a huge surprise. At the onset of his career, he dared to play an intersex person rejected by his own mother in Darmiya. Since then, Arif has won acclaim for playing the subject of derision as the proficient male Kathak dancer in Dance Like a Man, and also won accolades for playing Bhai Mardana, the chronicler of Guru Nanak's life in Nanak Shah Fakir. Shishir Sharma, who has worked with Arif and Razi, described him as an experienced and wonderful actor who essayed his character in Razi to the T. And now, Arif continues to raise the bar with his performance as the ruthlessly ambitious, stoic faced Jinnah in the web series Freedom at Midnight. I, Dinesh Raheja, was gobsmacked by Arif's performance as Jinnah, who wants to see the birth of his dream Pakistan even when he's on the cusp of death. In conversation with Arif, who tells us why his Jinnah never smiles, and if the appreciation he has received will give birth to a new Arif.
So, what has been the reaction to Freedom and Midnight?
So fortunately, it has been a very good response overall. One-on-one, plus we've got good reviews. We've had a lot of industry people messaging me and calling our producer, director Nikhil also, and praising the project. They like various aspects of the story. They like the characters. They like the acting, specifically my part and my acting also. So it's been very good so far. And the responses keep rolling because it's a web show. So it's there almost for eternity till they don't pull it down. So people are watching it at their own convenience and responding at their own convenience too.
So, what has been the reaction to your performances in specific?
My own response after watching it is
No,
that one.
no. And you talked about the film on the whole, but to you, what has been the response?
It has been good. I was a little skeptical as to how they will react to the character of Muhammad Ali Jinnah because there is no great reference in our films made on partition about Jinnah as a character. So here Jinnah is a main antagonist the way it is written. So people have liked what we've shown. They've understood the complexity of the character. They've understood my portrayal and aspects of the portrayal. So it's quite gratifying. So people have liked it by and large. I don't think I've
Your reaction to their reaction.
surprising a little, overwhelming, and then you're grateful that people have at least seen the finer nuances, whether it was the way Urdu I spoke or the English I spoke, or even as trivial as the way I smoked a pipe for being a non-smoker, so on and so forth. And certain scenes people highlighted, pointed out. So overall, it's been a very good positive feedback.
You're a non-smoker.
Yeah, I'm a non-smoker. Non-smoker.
You were very convincing. Yes.
Why did you ask me with
No, because you did it with such casual, the whole smoking thing.
yeah, so one had to get used to it because Jinnah was synonymous with being thin, and he was a chain smoker. If you know the history of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, if you know
Somebody
of it.
asked me a very interesting question while we were discussing the film. The person asked me, did Jinnah ever smile?
I'm sure he smiled. No, even I've smiled in the
The
shows.
character didn't smile. Even when he
But
was smiling, he was smirking, he was not smiling.
yeah, because the his personality was depicted through those very heavy, intense scenes where
Hmm.
he's deciding, he's absorbing, he's giving a command.
But he
So
should
in
smile once.
I mean, there are lighter scenes with the sister at home where he has smiled. Maybe I think if it's in the second season. There's also season two coming of 8 episodes. So we have shown a casualness to the character, apart from the great politically driven and his ideologically charged persona. There are lighter moments at home, I think. where, the casual banter between him and his sister and the staff is also shown. But by and large, his
The
characters,
first time Jinnah must have got so much attention in films, in Hindi films.
I think that novelty factor also has helped people respond to it in a certain way. Well, as I said, I don't read, there's so many films made on the partition of India and very good films. But the only film I recall which had a presence of Jinnah was Gandhi, Richard Attenborough's.
Pardon?
Richard Attenborough's film Gandhi.
Ah,
That had Jinnah's presence.
right.
Not in the way we've shown, but he was there around Gandhi in the initial part of the film. So apart from that,
You played Nehru in Hutatma in 1962, right?
yeah, I played Nehru.
And then you play Jinnah, and Nehru was your adversary. Was there anything going on in your head?
No, they're different parts and different projects, so it's not. 1962, Mahesh Manjrekar directed, and it was all the battle room scenes with Y.B. Chavan and the inner cabinet deciding on the war with China in 62. And Hutatma was a Marathi show, but I had a Hindi-speaking Nehru, where a part of the story was this girl, the Sanyukta Maharashtra movement it covered. It was a fascinating story. And she decides to assassinate Nehru when he's coming to Mumbai because she feels grieved and hurt as to the political decisions taken at that point of time. So both characters.
This is a real life event.
I'm not too sure whether it's a real life incident or whether it was real life partly was. But it was a fascinating character again because it's from the girl's perspective. And she thinks Nehru is the villain for just adhering to and agreeing to divide the state of Maharashtra, as a consequence of which her family was impacted. So there were different Nehrus, hopefully. And this is Jinnah. So it's not, I don't recall or have any baggage of me playing Nehru while I'm playing Jinnah.
Did you audition for the role?
Not in the conventional sense. So I got a call, I think, from the casting director or somebody from Nikhil's direction team about 2 years ago when I was shooting in UK for another project. And then I came down and met him. And I remember the first time I met him in his office, he made me read a scene which is there in the second episode where Nehru comes to Jinnah's house asking him to join the government, if you recall. So it's a nice confrontational, loaded scene where Nehru and Jinnah have a conflict face to face for the first time from the audience perspective. So he made me read that scene and he shot it, or one of his assistants just shot me while I did an instinctive read of the scene. And then, of course, we had elaborate makeup sessions because you had to look a certain part, the old and the young, with certain amount of prosthetic and certain amount of makeup, so on and so forth. So I don't think I did a conventional audition, but he made me read that scene. Also because I think I knew Nikhil a little, perhaps he had seen my work, so he had that trust factor, which is very important also. So he didn't make me go through the grind of a conventional audition. I was fortunate.
The kind of animosity Nehru and Jinnah shared, do you on a personal level have any such intense animosity towards anybody, professionally or personally?
Good question. Animosity.
I'm sure you had. We all
No, no, but I think I consider myself as a pacifist.
have.
So I don't really hold deep grudges or deep anger or animosity with somebody who doesn't concur to my point of view. So I don't think I can recall anyone I had a deep, etched,
And
consistent.
neither did the person on the other end have any animosity towards you.
I don't know. I'm not too sure whether I encountered such people who held a deep grudge against me and have manifested themselves in. No,
Tell
I
me,
mean,
did you research on Jinnah or did you go with your gut feeling and the director's vision?
yeah. So as we all know, everything is now available online. So there are a few videos of Jinnah. There's a lot of literature always, all the time about everybody. But the first base I used was the script, which was very well written based on the book. I'd read the book years and years ago. My father had a copy of it, and I remember in my house, 40 years ago, I had read it, but I didn't recall anything apart from the fact that it was about these dynamic political play between these five great people. So when the script was given for the first time and I read it, it was well etched. It was very expansive, well written. It was layered. So I followed that, and then I formed a small persona of Jinnah based on small audio clippings which I heard. And then I wrote down those points. Suppose a character has 10 visible traits. For example, I always thought, which I've tried to show in the show, that he would give a command. He won't speak normally. So it'll be like a bark, like a small bark. When he talks to people, he kind of has a small bark or a small growl. So I tried to incorporate that in the scenes. He had a very positive demeanor.
After 10 years have passed.
मतलब आज नहीं तो 10 साल बाद एक आजाद पाकिस्तान वजूद में आ जाएगा.
He had a certain look in his eyes because very early on he knew that he was dying. He had TB, and his health was declining. So he had this look, I assume, of things are going to end, and I have very little time, so I have to do what I have to do. So there's a certain demeanor or the certain look in his eyes, which I think must have been in the original Jinnahs also. Second, he was highly drugged, I thought. Drugged in the sense, when the cancer came, then they didn't have sophisticated chemotherapy. So I assume they were pumping him with a lot of morphine.
Right.
To be pain-free. And morphine, after a point, affects your... Yeah. So that is why he was in and out of reality in certain scenes. He looked disturbed. He looked out of pain. So I've tried to keep that slight discomfort in his persona as much as I could. And he was smoking all the time. So all the nicotine impacted perhaps the way he smoked.
How did the smoking affect you?
There were a couple of days where we were giving certain shots and the smoke went straight to my head and I was disoriented for a little while. I remember there's one particular close-up which Nikhil shot of mine in a scene with Sardar Patel. And I didn't know what was happening. I just drifted in that sequence and I requested him to reshoot it. So he very kindly reshot it the next day because I said, I'm not there in the whole dialogue which I've said. I'm like, the nicotine affected me. And as I always say, DOPs love smoke. So the moment you start smoking, they love the smoke which forms on your face. And, they shoot it and they light the smoke. And our DOP is again very brilliant. So he made use of that device. If you see the shots he's composed, especially Jinnah's closes, so the way he shot using smoke as a very important aspect of that particular frame and Jinnah's character. And the tragedy with that is when you're giving, suppose you are giving your suggestion to another actor, they want the smoke even there. And you can't fake it because they want them to smoke.
You're giving a cue, you mean?
Yeah, I'm giving a cue, or my suggestion is there, my shoulder's there, or back of my head. They still want the smoke drifting on the other character's face to look. The frame looks beautiful. So Malay, our DOP, had a great fascination once he saw all the smoke. So then every shot, every suggestion, perhaps every cue, by and large, I had to smoke. And then you can't fake it. You can't just, so I had to, yeah. But that's interesting. That's a part of my job, I think. So it was good. It's fun. But so my relationship with smoke was on and off the last 7-8 months when we shot. I think I last shot in September.
Now you continue smoking. Are you got addicted to it?
No, I haven't got addicted. Luckily, I haven't got addicted. So
no withdrawal symptoms.
No, nothing. No withdrawal symptoms. Certain amount of relief.
Tell me, every web series or every film takes you a notch up. But sometimes some films do kind of more magic. Do you think more magic will happen after Jinnah?
I hope so. I hope for every project of mine. Because the kind of labor went into it, the kind of effort which has gone into it, the uniqueness of the story, the severity of the message. It's a big message. It's a big show.
What is the message?
No, freedom, like what people went through
Okay.
to
Yes, yes.
with this big event, the partition being the focal point.
What all happened?
What six people or five people went through, the whole machinations, right or wrong, is subjective to who you are. That is
Right.
fine. You could disagree with what happened, which is fair. But the process they went through, the confabulations, the discussion, their own psychology, their own politics, their own personalities, which came to fore, like Gandhi and Nehru, for example. Jinnah's deep-rooted distaste or disdain for Gandhi. So we show all that. So you as an audience are watching all this happening in front of you. You're going back in time, and then
Yeah.
you're watching what happened. Why did he react in a certain way? Why did Gandhi react? Why did Nehru react? What is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's point of view? What was Mountbatten's point of view? So I think it's a sweet, how a visual sound and light show when you watch, and you're watching the whole history unfold.
Right.
So yeah, it makes it a little more intense than opposed to watching any other show which is a thriller or which is fictionalized. You know what I'm saying? So there is a certain severity to the audience also when you're watching it. There's a certain sense of belonging. It speaks about your land. It speaks about incident which perhaps has impacted all of us, and still it does.
या तो बचेगा या बर्बाद होगा.
So you've come a long way since Dharmya. So when you
Yeah.
look back at that was your big breakthrough film, right?
Yeah, 26 years, I think, to
So
Dharmyan.
1997,
97, 98, yeah. 97,
Ah.
98. Yeah.
I remember because I was very unwell in those days.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Okay. And I'd gone to see the film yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that role was originally to be done by Shah Rukh, but we'll not go into all that.
I mean, they keep every interview, even recently I was interviewed by somebody who said, I don't know, a lot of actors Kalpana Lajmi had approached. Shah Rukh's name also was there, but I always tell them, ask him. When you speak to Shah Rukh, ask him whether he was approached and
Right. I'm just saying that was
Yeah,
part
I
of
know. Yeah.
but fodder, press fodder that time.
Yeah, so I was fortunate I was doing a one scene role in Dharmiyan, the brother's role when Kalpana, I'd done a TV show with her earlier.
But it was a very disturbing film, and I saw it at a time when it was double.
Yeah. It was very disturbing. It was very intense and a very scary project. I spent about a year and a half doing it. Very intense experience of my life also because of all the, I don't know, the physical and emotional needs
But
of the.
you're getting the mullah for it, whereas I'm paying for the
Yes, that's true. Perks. These are the perks with the job. So yeah, Dharmiyan 27 years, 26, 27 years. Yeah.
So from Dharmiyan to Freedom at Midnight, what would you call the milestones in your career? Which would you rank as the milestones in your career?
I would like to, what happens is now these milestones people normally recall with popular films. I may not have done great popular films, but I have a nice, supposedly good body of work if I look down right now. Like since you brought the question, if I think back. So I did Dharmiyan, I did 1947 Earth. I did Dance Like a Man with Pamela Rooks. The film got the National Award. Then I did Nanak Shah Fakir, I think was a brilliant film I did about 4 years ago. The biopic of Guru Nanak. Unfortunately, didn't get the release it should have got. But again, very long, laborious, intense process of shooting that. Then even in the web shows, I did a show with Vikram Bhatt when web was just coming of age 7, 8 years ago. So Suhail Tatari directed it. I did Leela again on the web, which is still running, I think, on Netflix with Deepa Mehta. Then Razi with Meghna Gulzar. Then,
Fantastic director, isn't she?
Yeah, very good, very sensitive and very keyed into the subject. Then 1962 War on the Hills. So I can rattle off these, but the tragedy and the beauty of that question is what is popular, you remember. So that's the tragedy of it. But for me, it's very gratifying that people.
Oh, that was my next question. Has it been gratifying?
Yeah, it has. For all these people to have trusted me with those roles, which are as diverse as possible. I'm happy. I'm happy Nikhil trusted me with Mohammad Ali Jinnah. So it's ultimately some director has to put you in his thinking or in his chain of thought. Yeah, I can trust this guy to deliver. Mission Raniganj I did about 2 years ago with another good director, Tinu Suresh Desai, but the film didn't do that well. But I had a good experience shooting it. So I've done these projects and I keep working. My
So when
mantra
I was
is
talking to you for a newspaper, you said you felt undervalued.
people use these terms. I mean, it's good, na? You always feel undervalued. So your best is the next. If you feel satisfied, if you feel, yeah, I've got then you kind of tend to be lacked. So I think somebody asked, and they always ask this question: have you been undervalued? Have you been underutilized? But I meet so many actors at Prithvi, or my friends who are still struggling to get some decent parts for so many years. So it depends on which vantage point you're standing and you're making that assessment. So that's always, that's the jargon journalists use. Are you undervalued? Are you satisfied? You're never satisfied. You want to, till Jinnah came, I thought
But is 50 the new 30? The roles are there even for 50 plus, 60 plus people. Now
yeah,
that
I think OTT has given you that opportunity. Yeah, so coming back to the list, I shot again Special Ops Part 2 last year we shot with Neeraj Pandey, which is again a great experience. I had a great role, which will come next year. I've shot that last year. So I've done all these projects. Sorry, coming back to your question, whether 50. See, OTT has given the opportunity to a lot of actors who are 45 or 50 plus with diverse roles. Because in the long format, everything is long. You're not constrained by time. You're not constrained, perhaps to that extent, by market factors, by certain conventional theories of movie making. So you can take a character and move it around. You can take a middle-aged man if the character is interesting. You can take a middle-aged woman and expand her story. So OTT gives you that advantage of writing, first of all, these nice characters. Doesn't matter what age group they prescribe to, and then expanding the story with that. So I think that's the beauty of this platform in the last 7-8 years.
In fact, I should ask my second question with this so you wouldn't have to repeat yourself. Is OTT a better platform than Bollywood if you're aching for realism?
It's a little better, as I said earlier. My last answer was perhaps linked to that. Any platform which doesn't adhere to market factors, which doesn't need specific names, and which gives you time to unfold and tell a story with diverse characters, is always better, right? I mean, if you're writing a book as opposed to you write an article,
correct,
it's something like that.
Scam which this Pratik Gandhi did.
Yeah.
The scam which Abhishek did. He had more scope, Pratik, because he had so many episodes stretched over.
Right.
Whereas Abhishek had to do everything in 2 hours.
In 2 hours. That's precisely, you nailed it. That's what it is.
Anyway, then you can't compare those performances.
Yeah, you can't compare perhaps mediums with each other. You can't compare performances because, web is an 8 or 9 part episode is like 4 films together. So you get 4 films to prove yourself as a character. It's written in a certain way. The whole character graph is very explicitly written. So yeah, that's the advantage. Film doesn't give you that.
If God is in the detail, then obviously web series are going to score over film.
Always. That's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the platform.
In Dharmiya, you played an intersex person.
Yeah. Or hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite.
Yeah, it's called a hermaphrodite.
What about using that word?
Yeah, I wasn't accustomed to the term. So this Kalpana was a very brilliant screenplay writer, and she was very.
So you were one of the first actors to play that.
Yes, see, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you brought it up. Then it was sort of taken as a taboo, and even when I did Dharmiya, and I'd done 7-8 years of solid television before that. I had done Chunoti, and I had done Amanat, I had done Campus, I had done various shows. So I was a relatively known face on TV when I did it. And people around me scared me up. They said, don't do it. Now actors ask directors to add scenes in sari. Now actors ask directors, let's explore the feminine side of our character. Right. Then it was a taboo, but I just took it up as a challenge. I said, as an actor, I use these, I throw these words around, I'm looking for a challenge. But when a challenge comes at your doorstep, why should I shun it away? That was my simple philosophy even then.
Then you play the man who faces derision for doing Bharatnatyam, though he was
Yeah.
man, right?
Again, so Pamela Rooks offered me that part after, I don't know which film of mine she watched some movie and then she called me for a meeting and then she said, I'm giving you this. I said, all that is fine, but I don't know how to dance. So she put me through, I learned Bharatanatyam for 6, 7 months. And the tragedy there was to dance with Shobana,
Oh,
who is a well acclaimed
right.
Bharatanatyam. So I used to joke with her, or I had said in some interview that it's like you want to bat with Sachin Tendulkar and try and make a mark. But I mean, the whole process was very good. I learned a new skill, and she was very sweet enough to shoot the scenes which I was comfortable with my physicality, so it didn't look too odd. So if you watch the film for the very first time, if you didn't know me, you would say, yeah, he's a reasonably good dancer. But that's thanks to the way she shot the choreography.
Today there
So
are so many actors playing LGBTQ characters. What other aspect of this gender aspect would you like to cover, or you feel you've done your bit for this?
I don't know. I'm not gung-ho. I don't think about it like that. If an interesting role comes out, which is, I'll approach it. But I have no great aspiration that, I need to explore this genre or this part of my psyche. Or it's nothing. I mean, I'm happy to play anything. Honestly, I choose to be flexible to play anything.
You played Patthar when you were a child. Those you took 7 breaks and you hit it with a ball.
Sorry, what? Saat Patthar. Yeah. Those
I'm
games.
going to play Saat Patthar with you.
Okay. Are you
I'm
throwing
going to say a word and you have to tell me your instant reaction to it.
Yeah.
Bachelor.
Good.
Good. That's it. I'm not calling you a bachelor. Your response is bachelor is good.
Yeah, bachelorhood is good. Till it lasts, it's good. Yeah.
Nikhil Advani.
Good. Focused.
Travel.
Sorry? Travel? Overhyped.
Overhyped.
Yeah.
Relationships.
Essential.
Morning routine.
Yes. Espresso. Urinating espresso and then trying to figure what my day is.
Last thoughts before sleep.
To get no thoughts at all.
To get?
No thoughts.
No thoughts.
Take a deep breath and I hope I can erase everything on my mind and sleep peacefully.
Cheese.
Dislike.
Okay. Marathon.
Haven't ever done it.
Okay. Apple.
Apple. Computer. Good computers.
I thought you'd say keeps the doctor away.
No, good computer systems.
Dinosaurs.
Sorry?
Dinosaurs.
Who cares? Extinct.
Okay. Okay. We are done with it.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yes, I hope I made sense and you got what you.
Only in the last you played diplomatic.
I did. Where did I play diplomatic?
You won't be able to go on Karan Johar's rapid fire.
Doesn't matter.
I'm joking.
I did My Name is Khan with him. He directed.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I worked with him again also.
So do you have any aspirations of going on to Coffee with Karan?
No aspiration. No. I don't have any such aspiration. Anybody who invites me, I'm happy to go and talk to them. Why not?
Wonderful.
Thank you, Dinesh. Always a pleasure.
Subscribe to the Rock with DR YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to get regular updates.